Representative Hayes of Connecticut is recognized.
Thank you. Students are more successful when they have involved and engaged parents. And as a teacher, I am a teacher, that's how I came to Congress, I saw firsthand the importance of strong parent-teacher partnerships. Constant support in and out of the classroom is what leads to stronger academic outcomes. I, like my colleague, take issue with some of the rhetoric and the phrasing around having teachers lie to parents. I can tell you that as a teacher and as an adult professional, I have enough of a moral compass to understand and a level of discernment to know that even if someone asks me or gives me a directive, much like our military, if I know it's wrong, I'm not going to follow it. FERPA and the protection of pupil rights amendments are essential to protecting students and empowering parents, and they are built on the principle that parents should be involved in the education of students. Strong federal laws and a robust Department of Education are necessary to protect the rights of parents across the country. I am deeply concerned about the reorganization at the Department of Education and how this may impact the protection of parental rights, the protection of student data, privacy, and whether FERPA would apply to programs administered by the other agencies. Mr. Sharp, you referenced earlier how Secretary McMahon had said there was a backlog of complaints and parents could not get answers at the Civil Rights Division, but that is contrary to the position taken by the department where they have dismissed over 3,400 of the 4,800 civil rights complaints that are there, with only 100 of those cases having been resolved, and firing most of the staff since she came into office. So I really question if there is a commitment to addressing the complaints of parents. On November 18th of this year, the Department of Education announced 6 interagency agreements between the Department of Health and Human Services, the Interior, Labor, and State. This is another phase in the illegal dismantling of the Department of Education. And I have to ask, how will these other agencies administer FERPA and how will it be enforced? Mr. Vinsky, in your testimony, you mentioned the importance of robust guidance enforcement requiring staffing capacity and adequate and appropriate levels at the Department of Education to ensure FERPA enforcement. Do you believe that the HHS, Interior, State, or Labor departments will have the expertise or capacity to provide this robust guidance and ensure that FERPA is enforced?
Unfortunately, I have severe concerns about exactly how that would be structured and whether those agencies have the capacity or expertise to carry out FERPA's mandate and enforce those laws. And it's worth noting that across all these witnesses, there's an agreement that FERPA needs to be enforced and schools need to be supported in that enforcement. And I don't know if transferring the Student Privacy Policy Office or the Privacy Technical Assistance Center, key organs within the Department of Education, to elsewhere is going to help achieve that.
Can you speak a little bit to what are the benefits about having this under one agency as opposed to split up across 5 different agencies?
Not long ago, rulemaking and enforcement within the Department of Education regarding FERPA and the PPRA were separated. And there was a conclusion that those policy apparatuses and enforcement apparatuses needed to work in conjunction. And that is absolutely correct, because often what we are looking for is not to punish schools and take away federal funding that is much needed to support students, but to help coach them and support them, ensuring that they understand the law and can follow the law. And by dividing up those enforcement mechanisms outside the Department of Education, you're going to hinder providing well-rounded support to schools.
You referenced the 5 investigations that the department launched into FERPA as misplaced and appearing not to actually violate FERPA. What do you believe is the rationale for the administration launching these investigations into states, and why do you believe that they don't violate the spirit of FERPA?
The underlying reason is because FERPA settled on the fact that schools are responsible for their administration, but parents should not be denied access to records. And so the bipartisan sponsors of FERPA developed the approach that is currently embedded in the law, which is that parents may request access to those records and then request their correction if there are errors embedded in the laws. Some of the policies that are at the center of the discussion today don't address or affect that ability to request records whatsoever. They simply say that teachers cannot be mandated to disclose student information even when they judge it inappropriate otherwise.
Very different conversation. With that, I yield back.
Representative Owens of Utah is recognized.